Good, David? Okay, we'll call this meeting to order.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, has everybody had a chance to review the minutes from the last meeting?
Mr. Chairman, I move to approve the last meeting's minutes.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Dalzell, seconded by Commissioner Marsh to approve the minutes from the last meeting. Is there any discussion? Any discussion? Hearing none. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carried. Then we'll move on to the agenda. Commissioner Marsh, you have any additions?
No.
Commissioner Dalzell?
No.
Mr. Pelton?
No.
Mr. Kleeman?
Nope.
Okay, I have none. I'd entertain a motion for approval.
Well, second.
Motion made by Commissioner Kleeman, seconded by Commissioner Marsh to approve the agenda. Is there any discussion? Any discussion? Hearing none. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carried. Now we'll turn it over to David with the road department.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Carl, if you wouldn't mind. Morning.
Morning.
Few things for you guys today. On the 86th Avenue, 92nd Avenue projects, pretty much in the same point we've been here for a while, just waiting on some correspondence from the Army Corps and SHPO for the permitting. We're continuing to negotiate for easements with those landowners as well. There may be a chance that we bring up mitigation bank credits for one or both of these, based on what we get back from the Corps when we do. But I'll wait till that time till we get a real number to talk about. So any question on either of those?
You have a guess on how many acres it might be?
On 92nd Avenue, I recall around a half an acre. And then on 86th, it's a little more than that.
Under an acre?
Yeah, it'd be under an acre, but it's probably 6/10 of an acre, somewhere around there.
Okay.
100th Avenue, we've completed all the field surveys a while ago. Our 404 permit for that has been submitted. There's minimal mitigation on that should be required. I'm hoping to secure a permit this spring once we receive the cultural report and have that submitted for their review. We have moved into final design phase on that project and are beginning our plan sheet production. We're going to be beginning our easement negotiations on that soon. There's not a lot of landowners on that one, so I feel pretty good about that. Any questions on 100th Ave? Okay, moving on to 12th Street. We're in the process of evaluating our disturbances for the permitting on that project and be submitting that permit application pretty soon. This project will likely require a little bit of mitigation. Right now it's looking at probably in that half an acre range. We are working on some redesign as well in relation to the Cemetery Hill, and I've started reaching out to a few landowners. We'll push forward on that soon as well once we get that redesign done. So any questions there? Okay, 16th Street, pretty much same thing. We're in the process of evaluating our disturbances as well. This one will require, I think, a pretty sizable amount of mitigation. There's quite a bit of waterway along there. We are moving into the final design phase as well on that one and are beginning our easement negotiations. On the golf course road, all our surveys are completed in the field. We do have a permit submitted for that. Our wetland disturbance should be below the threshold to require mitigation on there. So once we have that cultural report submitted, we should, as long as there's no issues there, we should get a work authorization and target a bid date at that time. We're currently finalizing our design for the project and beginning our easements and negotiations on that as well. Any questions on that? Okay, and then just briefly on the 2025 projects, Superintendent Lim and I have driven the projects to review the existing conditions. My surveyors have been working in the field over the past couple weeks to a month, making pretty good progress with the lack of snow that we've had this year, so that's good for us for right now. I'd say we're probably about 50% complete with that, so. Any questions on any of those?
No.
Yeah, good. That's all I got. Thank you.
Thanks, Carl. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Aaron?
Morning, Commissioners.
Morning.
Morning. Have some updates as well. Start with Second Street Northwest and 84th Avenue Northwest. It's kind of wordy, but I'll try to explain a little bit better. So as you guys recall, at the last commission meeting, I've been working with the 3 attorneys trying to get all the remaining easements out of probate. All parties involved, Stu Millers and Corey and Jenna Stern, want to grant the easement, but they're being held up by their attorneys and it hasn't come back yet. However, on Monday, I did get a call from Stu Miller's attorney. They released another parcel. That means that's available. It would be available for them to sign. So I immediately called up the Stu Millers. I got over there yesterday. They signed off on all their parcels. So we got one more parcel done. We still have, Corey and Jenna are still working through their issues. Craig and Cody have been including you on these emails now that I'm getting from attorneys. The latest and greatest was Jenna's attorney has comments and changes to the easement that she has sent to Corey's attorney and is waiting for Corey's attorney to respond. Once Corey's attorney makes whatever changes or suggestions that he wants incorporated, she will give them to me and then I will present them for you guys to make a decision on. So once we get those 2 easements, Corey and Jen are both highly motivated and we're hoping that this will be done by Christmas. So it's not on them and they're on board. As soon as I get that stuff done, as soon as we get it signed off on, we're going to bid this thing and actually get it built. Questions or comments? Okay, and then so for 2024, we're still waiting for Beaver Creek and West official reports. We have the shape files for those, and so we're incorporating those into our design. If you recall, we've got preliminary plans that we had delivered a couple meetings ago. David, I still need to sit down with you.
Yep.
Probably after the holiday season. I know we've both been kind of running here lately. Just something of note, and I talked with Jeremy about it when I was back there. And so our wetland consultant who's West, and Carl, I don't know if you heard the same thing yet or not, but so West has been corresponding with the Corps, and the Corps, apparently there's new rulings on the Waters of the US Act. The Corps is not making any decisions regarding permits until they're given directives from their higher ups, so everything's at a standstill, just so you guys know. So I included you guys on that correspondence as well. I'm just trying to keep you guys in the loop. So I don't know what that means. I mean, I would hope that everything will go, or they'll get it worked out here after the first of this year, but it's just like it was last year. They're slower than, they're slow. Another thing that happened is we did meet with Mr. Bice. I'm not sure how in depth or if we're ready to have a discussion about that. If we want to, I can sum it up. He respectfully disagreed with State's Attorney Sundin's opinion. He is not necessarily denying any easement. He just feels that the prior issue of borrow being taken off his property should be addressed prior to any further discussions. Does that wrap it up?
Yep.
Really good. I'll leave it in your hands if you guys want to discuss it further. So.
Like, just give me. Mike will circle back on this at a later date.
Sure,
After you get some time.
absolutely.
I can put a summary together.
Yep, and then as far as 79th, again, Schwartz was out there and they made what they felt that they could do for their erosion control repairs on the Fry's property and some other areas. They still have to come out in the spring. We're still holding retention on that project too, so nothing's really changed since then. And that is all I have for y'all. Other than Merry Christmas, I brought some chocolate bars for you guys. Thanks for another great year. Really enjoyed working with y'all. So
Thank you.
happy.
Thanks, Eric.
Thanks, Darren.
Yep.
Morning, Commissioners.
Good morning.
Hey, more of the same on 109th. Industrial parcels are yet to respond with the signed easement agreements. Once the businesses comply, we will revisit the private landowners opposed to the project.
Are we trying to make correspondence with them or
Yeah, I've
just been
been
sitting out there?
nudging Tesoro and Marathon, and I have not heard anything back. They're kind of the ones that I want to get that. I've gotten verbals from Lazarenko. And after that, I've got, Bang and
Walker?
Walker.
Walker.
Yep.
And Trucon. So those three are still pushing back pretty hard. But I'd like to get the businesses on board before I push too hard.
Yep. Okay.
82nd, plan to meet with a key landowner in the south half after the holidays for feedback on his requests. Still working through design to start the permitting process, have multiple offices working on plan production. Questions on 82nd. And on 26, permanent easements are in the books, working with Billings County to secure the permanent or temporary easement needed to remedy the snow trap. Corps responded asking for 95% set of plans. Those plans were reviewed last week and will be resubmitted with the application before the Christmas break. We actually got those back this morning and I sent those off. So I hope in the next couple of weeks I can get with Superintendent Lim and we can review those and go over any notes he has for the 95% plans. And hopefully we can get some feedback from the Corps soon. But I'm not counting on it. It's been slow. And 27th, we're working with the more critical of the non-compliant landowners. There's a proposed solution and we'll continue to iron it out. We're also working with Leo Fichter's attorney who has said the estate has a personal representative who will review the proposed easements, working to complete platting to begin sending legal documents out for signatures. So now that we're past 95% with 26, we can kind of breathe on that one and turn our, now 27th is kind of the low hanging fruit as far as that office that's working on that. We can kind of push toward 95% and hopefully in the next 6 weeks, start the permitting process on that one is the hope.
Did they give you a name for the representative yet?
On 27th
Yeah.
for the Corps?
No, for the state.
Oh, yes, for Leo?
Yeah.
Yes,
Okay.
yes, I have her name.
I'll get that from you later.
Any questions on any of those projects?
Mr. Chairman. Dave, have you been out there and talked to those people on 9th Street, 109th? Any of them?
I haven't been out there to talk to, not very many people recently, no.
I wonder, we're spinning our wheels. I mean, we got that many people that aren't for it. I can't believe them companies aren't for it. They got equipment running out all the time.
I
Them
know a
beating-
couple of them are. There's a couple that are in favor of it.
Are in favor? You say you
Yeah,
got,
most of the people we talk to with the companies are for us just trying to get the
Just with,
uppers.
I think with that one company that's a big company and they're trying to get the right person to
Mhm.
deal with an easement. I don't think they're against it.
I don't think they're against it, and one of the parcels was sold. And it sounds like it's kind of a messy deal. It was between two oil companies, and I think that's what's maybe holding up one of them. Scott Lazarenko is for it. He hasn't signed an agreement, but he has said verbally that I could tell the commission that he's verbally for it. Same with the butcher shop there. Pavlenko, they're for it, but they don't want to sign the document until everybody else is on board. They're dragging their feet because they don't want to be the ones I don't understand. I don't understand it either, but I've gotten verbals from that, you know, from Lazarenko and Pavlenko. And I think as far as Tesoro and Marathon, it's just a long chain of command.
Gotta get to the right office.
Yeah, gotta get to the right person in the right office. So I have been nudging them and I don't know. I think they maybe have some red tape on their end because that sale just happened this year.
But yeah, there's the two parties that would be a huge question mark, yes. And the companies and stuff, like I said, I'm very confident we can get them. It's just trying to get the right personnel involved.
Yeah, no, we worked on this a long time.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Got a lot of engineering into it, a lot of time.
Yeah, the plans are like 99%. I mean, but every time there's a land sale, we have to go back and replat, you know, Blocker resold a piece of her parcel back to her dad Manly, so we'll have to replat it again. And, you know, I don't believe we're gonna have to do anything with the plans as far as that, but you know, there are changes that have to happen every time there's a land sale or something changes with the legal stuff, so. But as far as negotiating, there hasn't been, you know, when I nudge these guys, it takes me 5 minutes. It's not like we're charging a lot of money, but yeah, it's been slow. As far as wheel turning, you know, we're not charging you guys every time we send a 5-minute email, but yeah, there's been nothing happening as far as waiting. I believe the companies definitely want this thing paved. And I think the local residents will like it when it happens. I don't know why they're opposed to it. It makes no sense.
Okay.
That's all.
Any other questions then?
Thanks, James.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you very much. Jeremy?
Commissioners.
Morning.
Yeah, just a couple updates, one on the construction side and one on the design side. Have a pay estimate for 7th Street out on Charlie's Pass. It's pay estimate number 5. The amount is $224,145.94, which we're recommending payment to Martin Construction for that project.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we pay estimate number 5 in the amount of $224,145.94 to Martin Construction.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Pelton, seconded by Commissioner Dalzell to approve pay estimate number 5 to Martin Construction on 7th Street, Charlie's Pass, in the amount of $224,145.94. Is there any discussion? Is there any discussion? Hearing none, roll call vote.
Commissioner Marsh,
Yes.
Commissioner Dalzell,
Yes.
Commissioner Pelton,
Yes.
Commissioner Kleeman,
Yes.
Commissioner Beaner.
Yes, motion carried.
So, I've had some calls on that. I've been out and looked at the project. It's moving along really good.
Making good
There
headway.
were some concerns about the neighbors, but they're gonna be taken care of and it's moving on.
Yeah, I think there was maybe some confusion. What was done and what was left undone, I guess, as far as it's not done. The area that I think there was concern was area that they had moved the traffic over and they're gonna fill in that inslope from a technical aspect. But yeah, we're getting to the last few days in December and they're still working. It doesn't happen very often. I don't know if they've ever presented a pay estimate in December for work and they're still actively working. I think their goal was, well, probably well before now, but maybe by the end of the year, getting it ready and be done. I don't think they're gonna make the end of the year, but I think in the next couple of weeks, it's gonna be pretty much done as far as road top. There's still gonna be erosion control and some other cleanup to do, but the next couple of weeks, it's largely gonna be done.
They're
So,
doing.
no,
they're
they've,
doing-
they've actually moved. I mean, it's called Charlie's Pass for a reason, but they moved a lot of dirt. So they've,
They had a lot
done
left
really
to
well.
move, but I mean, their plan was to get her done.
Yep. No, and I kind of appreciate the county's help in hauling the scoria there for the first 3,000 feet or whatever, because hauling gravel or scoria doesn't happen this time of year all the time either. So gotta take advantage of the weather when we can get it, and it's kind of coming together pretty good, I think.
Yeah, they're making some pretty good headway on it.
Yep. The other update is on the design side, and that is related to 110th northwest of Killdeer. Design is complete, survey is complete. We actually did get the 404 permit with one condition, which we knew this was going to be condition. Condition is that we mitigate the wetlands out there, and it's approximately half of an acre. And we've done this before. It's kind of getting to be a kind of the cost of doing business as part of these projects is mitigating these wetlands. In this case, I think it's going to be the easiest and cheapest actually in the long run to mitigate those offsite through that Ducks Unlimited bank. Their going rate, the last time we checked, was $85,000 an acre. So in this case, it's, roughly $42,500. There's an option we could mitigate that on site, but then you'd still have to have the cost of building it, maintaining it, inspecting it. So in this case, I think it'd be better to mitigate that offsite through that bank. So that would be a recommendation to do. That kind of secures the core permit. So I would kind of encourage you to mitigate that offsite.
That would be a good thing to do today so we can move forward.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I said, the core permit is secured, but as a condition of that, we have to mitigate those wetland acres.
I think it's a good idea.
Mr. Chairman, I'd move that we mitigate the wetland acres on 110th Avenue.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Pelton, seconded by Commissioner Dalzell to approve the half an acre wetland mitigation offsite for 110th. And that's $42,500.
Yes.
Is there any discussion? Hearing none, roll call vote.
Commissioner Marsh?
Yes.
Commissioner Dalzell?
Yes.
Commissioner Pelton?
Yes.
Commissioner Kleeman?
Yes.
Commissioner Beaner?
Yes, motion carried.
So that was the last condition of the core permit. As far as the easements, we have an easement meeting today with someone, which we expect to sign. So the only thing that's preventing us from the bid opening is just one easement, which I would like to think will come to terms on that one. So that'll probably be the first one we go to bid, probably in January. 109th is kind of the similar situation. We're kind of focused on that one, as well as 114th by New Raddick. So we're obtaining easements, maybe not daily, but weekly, and things are generally going fairly well, but we're trying to wrap up an easement or two, and then we can go to bid on some of these other projects. So that was kind of a summary of where we're at with our design projects. The last thing, and David, I don't know if this made it on the list or not, but we put kind of a summary of the projects that we bid. That doesn't include some of the hydrology studies or staking section lines, but this is just kind of a summary of the projects that we bid. Looks like we did 8 of them. It's a little misleading because only 3 of them got built. Some were waiting on box culverts, which will be done next year, but 5 of the 8 is gonna be done this year, it looks like. So, you know, kind of proud of the fact that we got 8 of them bid. Appreciative of the work from the commission. Also appreciative of the landowners that provided easements for that, because those 8 projects don't happen on its own. Everyone has to be reimbursed for an easement. So appreciative of that. You know, we got smart, hardworking employees designing and obtaining easements, and I think it was generally a pretty successful year as far as road projects. And you know, I think we've done bulk of the bid openings this year, and I think next year we can have just as many or more. We're, you know, navigating our way through easements and core and some other issues, but I think next year we can have just as many ready to go to bid. So,
Yeah.
any
Thank you.
questions on that spreadsheet or anything else?
Thank you very much.
Thanks,
Thank you.
Jeremy.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Jeremy.
Appreciate her. As far as what we got going on, the county, we are hauling a little bit of scoria here and there to the less traveled roads right now. When they're done with 7th, we'll haul just a little bit there so we have something for the winter on Charlie's Pass over there. We are moving our scraper into Nelson Pit. We're gonna move some gravel. We did that section line variance, so we're gonna take some gravel and move it over to them so they can get that crushed. Other than that, we're still chugging along. Mr. Chairman, if you wouldn't mind, we could leave the permits till McKinsey Electric comes.
Yep, that'll work.
Okay.
Oh,
Oh, he's the permits there. Wait, but you're on for 10:40, right?
At 9:40 days.
9:40. I mean,
can we do, Stark County first and then
Yeah,
we'll jump
and then
in?
we can go. Perfect. Okay, is there any other questions for me then?
Nope.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Al?
Morning, Commissioners.
Morning.
Hi.
Appreciate you letting us, that little presentation. We're not asking for money. That's always a good thing. What we're doing is we're asking for your letter of support. I don't know if you have a map of our.
Yeah, I'm bringing it up. Give me 1 minute here.
Lori's working on it.
No, I got it right.
It's in here.
Yep, yep.
Okay, what
Support
we're
letter.
proposing to do is we're looking
read
for
it
some support
Today.
on Highway 22, north of Dickinson right by Jay's Body Shop. There's a road that goes east. It's all been graded. We put in concrete pipe. We're looking, applying for the flex fund for the DOT. And we're just looking for support from the county to support that project. Cause you know, if you think about it and look, there's some big farmers north of Dickinson that farm a lot of grain. And most all that grain it's a good cut across. Cause if you continue up, a lot of the trucks, we see them every day, they go right down Highway 22, turn by the mall, you know, and then head out. You know, if that road was done, it'd eliminate 7 stoplights.
Yeah.
And keep them heavy loads
Well,
coming through town.
I'm sure cattle going to the sale barns and all
Right.
that.
Because when you come out on
Equipment.
the south end, you'll come out just a mile east of the interchange. I think it's 64 up by Tiger Discount. We think it's a great project. We had a meeting yesterday with our western legislature senators and we took them for a bus ride on it. They're all in support. So we're just looking for your support to send along with our application to the DOT. I think it's a worthy cause.
I think it's a great idea.
Yeah, I talked to one of them legislatures and he was complaining about the cost of pavement and I told him that wasn't too bad a bid.
Well,
I mean, I think they don't understand what things cost out here.
and the biggest thing is the environmental work is done. I listened to your engineer's report. What are you guys fighting? Is environmental work. It's done. All it
Really?
needs is a lift of gravel and pavement. That's about as shovel ready as a project as you ever could get.
Wow.
The road's been run on for a couple of years. It's all packed down and
So
ready to go.
Doesn't
Chairman, I'd
really,
move that we go ahead and send them a letter of support.
Is there a second?
Second it.
Motion made by Commissioner Pelton, seconded by Commissioner Kleeman to approve the letter of support to Stark County. Is there any discussion?
Oh, Mr. Chairman, I was just gonna ask that it doesn't need grading or anything. I mean,
it's
rebuilding,
done.
it's all done other than this, yeah.
We regraded it 2 years ago.
Mhm.
Got all concrete pipe. It's done, the grass is growing. And that one thing I forgot to mention too now with Gooseneck building their big facility over
Right.
there.
Mm-hmm.
They're bringing air drills and combines this country.
Oh,
By
yeah.
rights, they're supposed to go all the way to exit 56, so that cuts off 10 miles off their trip from avoiding going to the west and coming back and around, so. I think it's a win-win for, and like I said, a lot of traffic's gonna come out of your guys' county.
And a lot of traffic to sale barns will use it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like I said, yeah, I think it's a great idea.
Sounds like the perfect project.
We kind of hope so, so.
Any more discussion?
No, but I do know that there are people who haul hay that use that and have said,
Really?
I can't even believe this road is as good as it is.
It was kind of funny yesterday, we had our legislatures in the van, we pulled off the interstate, we had a semi-low hay in front of us and one behind us, and
Yep.
they thought I had it planned
Oh,
to show up when they were on the route.
Not only that, there's gravel pit over in that area.
Yep.
There's a lot of people that live on that road and a lot of businesses on that road, so it'll eliminate a lot of dust and it'd be a good thing. Any other discussion? Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carried.
All right.
Thank you,
appreciate
Jonathan.
guys.
Yeah. Thanks, you guys.
Happy holidays to you all.
Thanks for
Thanks for
coming.
coming.
Merry
You too.
Christmas.
Okay, Mackenzie?
Morning.
Morning.
Laura, you want to pull that up? Okay, she's all yours.
All right. So I'm here to talk about three projects we're currently doing. The first two projects are around the Lake Ilo area where we have an existing single-phase line that was built roughly in 1949. And we're looking at replacing that line in the same alignment. This is due to the SHPO and everything that was provided by the Corps of Engineers along with the Game and Fish. There's a big Archie site out there in that area, so we had to do probe testing on everything. And it was determined where we were gonna be placing the poles. And we had looked at that and this is what they came up with, that we couldn't move it any farther off the existing roads. We had to keep it in the same alignment. And so we have 3 crossings on this project. So the first crossing there is that 5th Street? What it looks like. And so our existing crossings, some of our heights are 17.5 feet, and we're gonna have minimum clearances now of 25.5 feet. Another crossing is at 16.5 feet, and we're gonna get it up to 25.5 feet as well. So all the clearances would be up higher than current electrical code, which is 18.5 feet. We'd have the minimum of 25 feet. And that's the one that would have 16.5 feet, and now it would go up to 25 feet. Any questions on the Lake Ilo projects? There's also one just north there. This goes down to the Brew cabin and the Daniels cabin. Same thing, it has to be in the same alignment. Current heights are between 16 and 18 feet, and the new design would have it around 25 feet.
Well, you kind of said it, but I'm, just to clarify, those are existing currently. 'cause
This
you just said
project is an existing project, yep.
Is one project then, or is it?
So there's 2 separate segments of it. There's the north end by the brew cabin, and then the south project. But it's all gonna be constructed at the same time.
Okay, I could make a motion to do both projects then.
Correct.
Okay,
It's
So-
2 separate permits, but it's
yep.
within the same project.
Or do you want to wait until all the permits, do them all at once, or do you want to do them individually?
I think we could do them all at once.
Or would you rather make a motion for each individual permit?
It don't matter to me.
So there is a third one.
Why don't we see what your third?
Because we still have, yeah, we still have some to go, I guess.
So the third project, this project is for a brand new three-phase overhead power line, which would be crossing by Second Street, so it would be over by the Hoots' place. This would be for an oil project. There are currently 2 existing crossings in that area, which the clearances are around 22.5 feet. The new line just east would be 25 feet, looking at that project. But this is a new line though. It's not an existing rebuild.
You said there's lines already there.
So if you look at the map on the west there, you can see there's a crossing right there. And so that crossing is roughly 22 feet. And then there's another crossing just north right there. And that crossing is 24 feet. And the new line we're building is going east. And then that crossing would be 25 feet. So this new design would have actually a higher clearance than the 2 existing crossings.
Any questions?
So are you keeping that one? Are you replacing this new one with,
No, the 2 existing crossings we just showed as a reference of what the heights were and that this new one would have higher clearances.
Those will stay then.
They will stay correct.
Any questions or comments? That's all the projects.
Correct.
No, yeah, I got another one to add to that, but just to tag along, like I said, the other ones are existing, they're going higher. And then this new one's around where we already have them, so I'd recommend approval of those 3. And then I'm gonna tag on here if it's okay.
Okay.
We have that One Oak one that I brought up last time going over 104th. It's that 10-inch poly pipeline. Yeah, we worked pretty hard on it and we got to where we're on the same page, so it won't conflict that project. So I'd like to actually thank One Oak and Jeremy for working that out as quick as they did, but I would recommend approval of the permits.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion to approve the permits.
There's a second.
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Kleeman, seconded by Commissioner Dalzell to approve the utility permits. Any discussion? Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carried. Thank you.
Thank you, commissioners.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming in.
David, do you have anything else?
That's all I got, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. Sally, do you want to do the federal mineral?
Yes. I just wanted to let you guys know, so in the federal mineral royalties in December, we received $5,564,716. That brought our year total to $18,238,137.68. So we are over in that fund by $1,238,137. So our year-end balance in that account will be roughly 24 million. So just to bring you guys up to speed on that one account. I looked this morning, I haven't got the final GPT for December, but as soon as I get that, I'll email you guys and let you know how we end up in that account as well.
Thank you very much.
Thanks.
Did you want to go into then adding Jennifer?
Oh, yes. So here later after the break, I'll introduce Jennifer and Summer to you guys, our new employees. But Jennifer Litsu is our new deputy treasurer, and I would like permission to add her to the bank accounts and take Sarah Lowry off as she is transferred to the extension office.
That's at Rivera,
All 3. I would like
all 3.
all accounts, yes. Bravera, First International, and Union Bank, as well as Dakota Community. So
All 4.
Yes, all of the banks would be great. Then she can help with the CD accounts as well.
Mr. Chairman, I would move to add Jennifer
Litsu?
Litsu to our bank accounts.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Dalzell, seconded by Commissioner Marsh to add Jennifer Lutz,
No.
Litzu, sorry, to the 4 bank accounts and remove Sarah Lowry. Any discussion? Any discussion?
Mr. Chairman, I'm wondering if we should just say to the county's bank accounts in case CDs go into another, another bank or something in the future.
I'm okay with that. Is there any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, say yes.
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 All opposed? Okay,
Cut me off guard. I was like,
I
what? Okay, I will.
sorry.
It's good.
We could do the appointment of the department heads. We need to appoint Nicole Carlson to the Director of Tax Equalization, Sandy Rhodey to the Code Administrator and 911 Coordinator, the Desi Calhoun to the Human Resources, Caroline Bentz to the Veteran Service, Kirk Roll as the Coroner, Sarah Dutenhefner to the Emergency Manager, Diane Almendinger to the Weed Control Officer. So we would need a motion to keep them appointed to those positions. Any questions?
Is that everybody? I'm just trying to think.
Yeah. Is that everybody?
Mr. Chairman, I move to approve the department appointments as noted.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Dalzell, seconded by Commissioner Marsh to approve the appointments of department heads for 2024. Is there any discussion? Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carried.
Mr. Chairman, I was just thinking, because didn't we move Luann to that position? I'll have to look at that.
Yeah, communication specialist,
Yeah.
but that would be, I think, the same as like a road, like
That's gonna be a
David.
Okay.
Portfolio,
Okay.
Yeah.
I just want to make sure.
right?
Yeah.
That'll come up in January.
Mhm.
Okay.
Sally, can we introduce?
Get Summer and Jenny. Summer and Jenny. I'm gonna make you guys come up front.
Hi.
So sorry, I should have introduced Summer Cook a while ago. Summer lives right here in Manning. Summer comes to us with 7 or 9 years of experience in accounting. She is our new deputy auditor, as well as the backup for payroll for Janet. So welcome, Summer.
Welcome.
And Jenny Litsu, she currently lives in Killdeer, and she comes to us from Michigan, and she has worked at a courthouse for the auditor's office there. So she has quite a bit of experience already doing this type of work. So we lucked out with both of these ladies. They're amazing.
Welcome aboard. Thank
Welcome to
you.
the group. Thank you, guys.
Yep, thanks.
Okay, we'll take our break until 10. Okay, we'll call this meeting back to order. Am I on?
Yeah.
What?
Just got to talk to the mic. Yeah.
Okay, we'll call the meeting back to order. Or not. Does it sound like it's on? Yeah. But he's listening.
Oh.
Into their gum.
Thanks, Craig. You're gonna make my husband's Christmas.
Well, send him up some night. I think we can make him a whole, but
Oh my God, I'm serious. He takes them and like hoards them.
Oh, yeah,
Like-
great.
bring him up,
Good for you.
bring him up. I'll help him make a batch.
Okay, Kirsten and Becca.
Good morning.
Morning.
Good morning. How's that?
Good.
So I have been doing charcuterie board classes. They're so fun. And I helped with one in Pick City, and then I was gonna go to Washburn, didn't go to that one. Then we did one in Killdeer on Monday, and then last night I was in Beulah. So we're done for a little while, and then we're gonna try to figure out and do one as like a staff building for the county in January. And we have other people lined up that want to do them, throughout February and March.
Oh.
Super fun. It's been a lot of fun learning and doing that. And then doing a lot of stuff up at Hilltop again. We had a fun Christmas thing up there. And then food pantry. And today is basket day and food pantry day and crazy day, but the food pantry is such a blessing to this community. It really, really is. And all the people that donate it's amazing. It's really, really good. And then I'm done today until after the 1st.
Okay, we haven't talked to you in a while. We hired Sarah Lowry in our office as our administrative assistant. She started November 13th. Yeah, she's great. We had our burp training, our bovine emergency response plan and training. We had about 20 people show up, which was a good turnout, and we had a really good turnout from our sheriff's department too. So it was a great class. I learned a lot. I hope they did too. We had our 4-H Christmas party in the beginning of December here. We made salt dough ornaments. And we handed those out to Hilltop residents at Hilltop and Legacy Lodge. Let's see. I attended a 4-H planning meeting. It's a state 4-H planning meeting. A lot of good things came out of that, but I will be spending a lot of time up at the state fair this year. I'm the swine super, so I'll be spending a lot of time up there this year. I helped out with some tractor safety with FFA students. And right now I'm working on entering our pairs stuff, our reporting system. And then I've had a lot of calls on cover crops and alternative forages. Upcoming dates and upcoming events, I guess. Livestock judging practice will start after the first of the year, tentatively the 9th. It'll be after school. We have an advisory board meeting coming up after the first, hoping for after our 4-H council meeting on the 10th of January. Commodity elections, that will be February 7th at 10 a.m. at the courthouse. 4-H breakfast, our 4-H annual 4-H breakfast is set for February 11th. And then pesticide dates are March 6th. That one's going to be in Manning. And then March 13th is in Halliday.
Good job. Thank you.
We have a big calendar right when you walk in our office, if you ever want to know if things are coming up or going on or whatever. And then Sarah also knows what we're doing and where we're at. If you ever want to pop in and have some coffee.
Thank you very much.
You guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Desi?
Good morning.
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 As you guys know, I've been working the last couple of months with the NACO AI Exploratory Committee on a work group. And this past week, we received an email with an invitation to come and participate in a forum in February, right before the NACO Legislative Conference in Washington. What the forum is going to be about is it's for all of the CIOs across the nation to come to this forum, and they're going to have an interactive session so that we can meet with these people and hear their feedback on the committee's work, as well as what they would like to see happen in their own counties with artificial intelligence. And so I'm here asking for permission to attend that forum. It is for one day, and the cost for that is $100.
Any discussion?
When did you say that was? Sorry.
It is February the 9th.
Mr. Chairman, I would move to approve the travel and registration costs for Desi to attend the AI conference.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Dalzell, seconded by Commissioner Marsh to approve Desi's travel to the AI conference. Any discussion? Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carried. Thank you.
While you're in Washington, look for some real intelligence too.
Yeah. Just kidding.
Tracy, you want to talk about the election? Indy Fit?
Oh, yes. So Desi was approached by the North Dakota Association of Counties about being on the Indy Fit Board of Directors representing counties. Lisa has been on that board, and she is not seeking reelection. So what I would, I guess what I would do is make a motion to nominate and a vote for Desi to be on the Indy Fit Board of Directors representing North Dakota counties.
Do we need to make that a motion, approve that, then vote?
No, I think we can just.
Just the
vote.
motion is
Yeah.
good enough?
Mhm.
Okay. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Motion made by Commissioner Dalzell, second by Commissioner Marsh to approve nominating, well, approve Desi to the board for ND Fit.
Mhm.
You have to
Yeah,
run,
to-
right?
Yeah. So it's to, we're casting our vote. Is that the way it's
Oh, yeah.
been presented to us? So,
Casting our vote.
yeah,
for Desi
to
for
nominate
ND
and
Fit.
vote, yeah. You're already on the ballot. So it's to vote for Bessie.
Is there any discussion?
When is the election? But when? Of January? December. Oh. Sorry,
Is there any other discussion?
We're already jumping.
yeah,
ahead.
okay.
Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
I
All opposed, motion carried.
guess I just like to thank Bessie for willing to step up and do this. We're fortunate to have Lisa on
Yes,
and
Thanks, Lisa,
for
for your
serving.
service.
so. Mhm.
Thank you, Desi, for running. Okay. Entry not yet. Oh, we might have to take another break.
How about the
Oh,
appointments?
yeah, sorry. Forgot about that. I think we should appoint David Lim to the road.
Highway superintendent.
What's that? Oh, she's laughing.
Highway superintendent.
Highway superintendent. Loanne to the communications and Will to the building.
I would make that motion just for clarification and.
Yep.
Second.
There's a motion made by Commissioner Dalzell, seconded by Commissioner Marsh to approve those other department heads. Is there any discussion? Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carried. Okay, we'll take a break until 10. Huh?
So you do have bills too. Fine.
You want to do
Oh, yeah, I guess we could do the vouchers. Oh, yeah, we did get them.
Portfolio reports.
Just to bring up too on there is, the High Street, our portion of the half of the High Street bills on there by 1.1 something. So that's what that is. And that was, again, just cost shared with the city of Kildare.
So why are we still getting bills from the Pemberton Law?
Where's this at?
That was one, I'm sorry, excuse me, one remaining bill that was time that the state's attorney called them and was talking to them. I did look at that. And then it was one other thing, and I think it was like right after all of that, and they just billed us for it. So that we shouldn't receive anything else from them.
Do you know what that North American Rescue is? It's on the second page under hazmat.
Joanne, this is Sarah.
Yes.
That was for some equipment that the LEPC approved to purchase for the Rangers, I believe.
So that didn't come out of LAPC's funds?
That is the hazmat fund.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Thank you.
Yep.
Yep, that is what that's for, Joanne.
Thank you.
That's it. Shouldn't.
Mr. Chairman, I would move to approve the vouchers as listed.
There a second?
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Dolzall, seconded by Commissioner Marsh to approve the vouchers. Any discussion?
Yes, Mr. Chairman. Sally, I see you got me down that you're paying me for my phone. On the first page about down. Does that mean you can go into the county can go into my phone then? Either they're paying me for it?
Whether they pay you or not, if you use it for
If
county
you-
business.
If you're using your personal phone,
Yep.
they can. If you have a county phone, then they
Yeah, so it doesn't matter if you get paid or not, if you use your phone. Open record. Yep. We can get you, if you want one, we can get you a county phone.
I'd rather do that than have it on my personal phone.
Okay.
And I'd rather take this off in there.
We'll have to amend that then. The motion. There was a motion made, so do you want to amend it?
Yes, I'd like to amend it to take that $500 off of my
Well,
phone.
it's for the
Doesn't
past.
matter, Bob, it's from the past, so you would get it anyway. So, yeah, so it doesn't matter. Anything that you used your county phone for in the past is still public open record.
They can still go back to you.
Yep. So you might as well get paid for a year. But going forward, I will have Summer order you a phone.
Is there any other discussion? Any other discussion? Hearing none, do roll call vote?
Commissioner Marsh,
Yes.
Commissioner Dolzall,
Yes.
Commissioner Pelton,
Yes.
Commissioner Kleeman,
No.
Commissioner Beener.
Yes, motion carried.
Elkins left.
What's that?
We should get Elkins left.
Yeah, we got Elkins and
Well, the food pantry.
food pantry. What's that? Oh. Thank you. I guess I would like to, I was gonna do it at the end of the meeting, but we got time now, so I was gonna remind everybody about the New Year's open house. On December 28th from 1 to 4. There will be treats and refreshments. Public can vote for their favorite tree. They can bring anyone. There'll be coloring contests and writing contests for the kids with cash prizes. And there'll be lots of prizes donated by our area businesses given throughout the day. And it'd be really fun if everybody could stop in and attend. Would like to, from the commission and the staff, thank all the businesses who have dropped off gifts. We really appreciate that. And the staff as well. Want everybody to be aware. If not, we might as well take a little break until they get here for the next item on the agenda. Hi,
How you doing?
good, and yourself?
Not too bad.
Good deal.
Thanks. Got me in early. That's great.
Yeah, thank you for showing up early.
You bet.
Okay, what do you got going, I guess?
So I think there was a cover letter that was distributed to you guys that kind of gives a little bit of the background on the situation. This commission previously issued a CUP, which authorized us to construct a reservoir on land owned by Wiley Bice. It's a large reservoir and it crosses a couple of different sections lines, 27, 28, 33. In conjunction with that CUP, there was authorization granted by this commission to encroach upon those section lines. And now we're at a point where we would like to erect a building over the pump station just to house the pumps and the piping to protect it from the elements. When we applied for a building permit, and it shows, as you can see, that a portion of the access road, the approach part of it, and then a portion of the building crosses the section line as well, in addition to the reservoir. And I think Sandy just wanted to make sure that we come back in and make sure that it's okay for the building to be located on that section line, in addition to the reservoir, the pump station, and everything else.
Is the building already built?
No, it's not. We actually, there have been some footings that were set. And you know, that was our bad.
Once it's been started.
What's that?
It's been started?
Some of the poles have been set, yes.
So it's a permanent structure then?
It is a permanent structure. It's basically just a pole barn. It's a 42 by 60 pole barn. There's no bathroom facilities, no potable water facilities. It's basically, you know, what you would see on a ranch. And it's just solely to house the pumps and the piping, the inlet outlet piping from the reservoir. There's just so the commission knows, this area down there, as you can see in the map that we provided, is pretty remote. There's no existing road there. I don't believe, because of the terrain and the topography, that there would ever be any road developed there. There's already the reservoir that's sitting there that crosses that section line. And so to the extent it's necessary, we're just asking that the commission approve the building to be able to sit there.
Is this your reservoir that slid?
Yes.
Have you got that all fixed yet?
We're working on that right now. We had Braun Intertech and KLJ that have come back in. They've redesigned it. It was originally planned to be 3.5 million barrel reservoir. Now the size of that is going to have shrunk. There's additional safety factors that have been implemented. It's going to be lined now at this point. We do have to go back through the state process because the design has changed. And so we're hoping to have that application submitted to the state before the end of the year.
Where this building, how close to the reservoir is it?
Well, I've got another, I thought you might be interested in that.
It's out of a line to where what's been sliding isn't going to affect your building?
No. Sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. So as you can see, it is right next to the reservoir that's already been constructed.
So you said you had to resend your information for the pond. So you're expecting approval from the state on that then?
Yeah.
Your redesign?
Yep.
Mr. Chairman?
Yeah.
What would be the plans for this building if this the pond was no longer used.
Well, at that point in time, it'll be turned over to the landowner, and Mr. Bice would use it for storing equipment and other things down there. I mean, the plan ultimately is when the need for industrial water is over, that reservoir will actually be used for irrigation purposes down there. I think it was, you know, what ultimately the landowner would like to see. But the building he would be able to use for storage of equipment.
If he's not in favor of using the building, it will be removed then?
Yes. Yeah, at the end, we have a surface use agreement with Mr. Bice that basically in the end, there's reclamation provisions in terms of reservoirs that are constructed and other facilities that you know are built on his property, and we would have to comply with whatever his wishes were.
Is that a condition we could put on there, that if the landowner wants it removed at that time, or, you know, word it somehow like that? Sandy? Any other questions?
So there's no way to move that off the section line? You said you already have it.
Well, the part of the problem, Commissioner, is that under the original CUP, the inlet and outlet piping, that's the line that you can
That's where
see
it is.
on there is, you know, runs into the reservoir and exits the reservoir at the particular angle shown on there. And so that, you know, that piping is already, you know, been installed, and that portion of the reservoir is not going to change. Any design changes to that are going to be to narrow it up and make it smaller.
Have they started any dirt work on that yet, or just in the design phase?
Well, we started the dirt work on the original design phase last year.
Since it slid, have you done any?
No, we're still working with Braun Intertech and KLJ, and that no more dirt as far as construction reservoir construction will happen until spring. But if you wanted to include a condition in the encroachment that should the, you know, when it's not used for its intended purposes, if the landowner would want it removed, he already has the right to force us to do that under the surface use agreement, but you guys can certainly include that as a condition. We don't have any problem with that.
Any other discussion?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, so we can move on. I would move to approve the encroachment permit from Elkin as presented.
Is there a second? Second?
Mr. Chairman, I'd like clarification. Are we putting a stipulation as far as removal if landowner desires?
I would add that. I think it's there already, but I would add that to this permit.
That the landowner sign off when it is not used for its intended use?
Yes, if he chooses to remove it.
Yep. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Motion made by Commissioner Dolzall, seconded by Commissioner Marsh to approve the
Section line.
section line encroachment with the condition that the landowner will have to sign off when it is not used for its intended use. Is there any discussion?
Mr. Chairman, the other thing I would ask is that we get, once you get your state approval on your redesign, that Sandy gets a copy.
Absolutely.
Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carried. Thank you.
Thank you.
Dunn County Roundup?
To you all.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I'm gonna hand this out. This is,
Thank you.
oh, Father. The roundup brochure. It's a bit outdated, but it, gives a bit of the history of where we're at and, where we've been. I wasn't at the last meeting, in regards, to the sharing when, I think it was Commissioner Dalzell that shared about that we found some property. And then there was some concern, I think it was Commissioner Marsh, that you had some throughout the idea that why not purchase Nana Lills? So we had our meeting yesterday. It was a really good meeting. Lots of discussion, lots of thought. But to just back up a bit of where we've been and how the Dunn County Roundup was formed. Many of you are aware of it, but I just want to rehash it out just so you have an idea of where I'm coming from. So I've been on the board since the beginning. Pastor Dorothy Stein asked me to come on before we even had a name. And she said to me, the food pantry is in a difficult situation. This is back when I was in the old social services building. And she said, can you come on so we can find a permanent location for the food pantry? I worked at a food pantry when I was in seminary, so I have, I think, a pretty good idea of what it needs to be. So I said, sure. Went on, and we've been in discussion all along, looking for a permanent place for the food pantry. I first came aware of it though before Pastor Dorothy came to me, and the reason I came aware of it was somebody had donated to St. Joseph's Church some money for the food pantry. And then we usually write out a check, for the food pantry, but we were writing it out to St. John's Church. And my question was, why are we writing to St. John's Church for the food pantry? Like this doesn't make sense. So I'd asked Pastor Dorothy and asked parishioners. And that's when I found out that the food pantry fell under the umbrella of St. John's Church, which I didn't like from the start, but it's just the history of what happened. Thankfully, St. John's, picked up the slack after, I think it was at social services no longer were taking care of the food pantry. So St. John's picked it up and really took good care of it for all these years. So when I came onto this board, our main goal was to get it away from St. John's Church, and it needs to be its own entity or under the umbrella of another entity. So what happened is we then formed the Dunn County Roundup. We know we needed a building. You guys know the history there. We know it could be in the social services building. The present location where we're renting from right now is not long-term for a variety of reasons. Bathroom situation, cleaning, and so forth. So we've been looking for this location. We've been looking for property. We've been here before asking if you guys have any ideas for property. We talked to the city of Kilder. They've been very helpful in helping us search for property. And then this piece of land came up that was presented last time that Commissioner Dalzell presented. And then Commissioner Marsh, you brought up, why not look at Nana Lills? So that's just where we're at now, I thought I'd rehash that out, just so you know where we're coming from. Nana Lils, we all have been in there. There's like three sections, or four if you count the kitchen as the fourth section. The building's been there. It's my understanding more than 100 years, because when we look at the old pictures in Brevera Bank, is it 1919 that the picture was taken? And it appears to be that building is already there, which tells me, having torn down old buildings, being with my dad who did some of those things, it tells me that it's likely not insulated well. That's the first thing. A second, there's most certainly asbestos in it, which was the case that with the social services building. Layout, because I thought, well, that all that stuff can be cleaned up. What about layout? It's 2 levels, so you can come in off the street, or you can come in from the back by the alley. There's that nice parking lot there, which is not owned by Nana Lils at all. So if anybody's coming to the food pantry, they'd have to come in off the street, which there's quite a bit of traffic there. If somebody's handicapped, which usually comes with looking for food, somebody doesn't always have the capability of coming in. It needs to be handicap accessible. But the big thing that we wouldn't like it is the 3 levels. So there's the restaurant on one side with no bathrooms attached. On the other side, the one section, there are bathrooms there, just, that open up right into the hallway. I've been there eating already, and I'm just kind of being blunt, if you guys don't mind. I've been eating, and the door opens up, and I don't need to say anything else. So if that section was the food pantry, we would have to move the bathrooms, for one thing, which means plumbing. We'd have to do a lot of plumbing when it comes to that, ripping up the floor. It's 2 sections, which again is difficult for handicap. They're actually small sections. From my time in the food pantry, one needs a good section where the people can come in and pick things off the shelf. And then one needs another area, a good large area for food that is not available right away for the people. One needs that. One needs then an office room, because all the logistics that are involved with it. One needs handicap bathrooms. Again, they can't be in the location where they are right now. And then if one split it down the center, so that you have the restaurant on one side and the food pantry on the other, one would need bathrooms for the restaurant. We would not want those in the restaurant having to walk through the food pantry to use the restroom. So one would have to add bathrooms. If one added bathrooms, it makes the restaurant smaller. But the big thing is, the Dunn County Roundup does not want to run a restaurant or have somebody else, lend it to somebody else to run a restaurant. We all like restaurants, but they involve a lot of work, and that's not something that the Roundup would not, we just wouldn't want to take that on. With that being said, after our discussion, we asked a lot of questions. Well, could we make it workable? And I appreciate your bringing it up, because we just never even thought of it, because we just didn't ever think of it as an option. And after thinking it through, we again don't see it as an option. Any comments on that? I do have a little bit more to present about the property, but any comments on that? We've been looking for property for a long time, as you guys know. I think I was sitting here a little over a year ago. We were talking about it. So now we found property. And it's exciting because the gentleman that wants to sell us the property, he's been very generous to us. It's about an acre of land. And land where it's at, it's prime Kilder property. One's looking at, $150,000 just for property like that, or thereabout, more or less. As Commissioner Dalzell presented, I think you mentioned the numbers. So he's willing to sell it to us for $80,000, but then wants to donate 40,000 back. So to get this property for $40,000, it's exciting. The question that I'm sure you all are asking then is, what happens with the property? Well, we know with certainty we need it for the food pantry, but we know that. What does the building look like? We don't exactly know all the details, but we know that it includes the food pantry, which would include a number of rooms. You got to have bathrooms, you got to have just whatever the state requires for that. We've talked about, as you can see in the brochure, we've talked about making it also including a senior center for it. That word or that phrase, senior center, about 30 years ago, 50 years ago, sounded really good. Today, there's some hesitation on that phrase because a number of senior centers across the state just don't have the manpower to keep up. So there's been some hesitation about that. And visiting yesterday, someone said, well, could it include a soup kitchen? During my time up in Williston, that was something that was done on a weekly basis or or every couple of weeks, is there'd be a meal provided for the community for anybody that wants to come. And then it was First Lutheran that housed it at that time. That's an option. We could add that on to the food pantry. What we all add on at this point, we do not know with certainty. If you guys have ideas, we want the building to be something that the community is going to use, not just for the food pantry, but in a variety of other areas. We have the cultural center, which is more of a large scale setting. There's the new rodeo grounds. There's the nice building there. Again, it's more large scale. In our minds, and speaking for the Dunn County Roundup, we're thinking more of a smaller scale. A room that can house, 20 to 50 people if there's something going on. That's more what we're thinking, to have a venue like that, not big. Jim has been saying a place for youth to meet after games, where they can just come, sit on a couch, play some games. It's not real big, so you don't have to keep track of, large area. It's more like a home feel. Personally, I like that idea. But we don't all know what that building is going to include. So in conclusion, my request on behalf of the Dunn County Roundup is, could we get money to purchase this property?
I guess I got a quick question for you. You said you guys don't like the kitchen idea, which is fine, and the restaurant. But now you're also talking on the other breath that you're thinking about doing a soup kitchen. Wasn't that kind of similar things?
That's a good question. The kitchen at Nana Lil's, it's been there for quite some time. So I know there'd have to be, because of the change of ownership, the state would require all new, it has to meet up to code, what is required now. So I know there'd be costs there. I don't think, well, it goes back to, it's too small for the food pantry. That's what it goes, the 2 levels, handicap accessible, bathroom situation, plumbing, it goes to.
But I'm just trying to understand, because you said you guys didn't want to run a restaurant, but now you're talking about you want to run a soup kitchen. Isn't that running?
It's 2
kind of
different
restaurant
things.
the same? They're different, but
Yeah.
you're going to be running a kitchen.
So a restaurant would be a daily basis for the most part, and you have lots of people coming in. A soup kitchen would be, every now and then. So staffing it is different.
Then
Yeah.
one other question that's come up, or one other question I have, is come up a lot where you, which I understand, you don't want this like in a high trafficked area. So
Correct.
people don't see who's going in and out.
Well, not so much that, but it's for those who are coming in with kids. We don't want it a high traffic area. That would be the reason. There is a bit, so the point you bring up, there are some people going in to get food that don't want to be seen.
Yeah, that's what I'm getting at.
There is that, but I'm not concerned about that. If they need food, we want to provide for them regardless of the location.
Mr. Chairman, something excuse me, had asked a question about, to Bobby, our building inspector, was when you go in and change the occupancy of something, so say to make it a food pantry or a, whatever becomes of that, then the requirements to meet code change. Parking is a big deal, and there just would not be sufficient parking. Once you go in and change something, you've got to comply to new codes, and that would, I mean, just that on the surface would probably eliminate that option.
I'd be totally against the old building. I mean, you're gonna have more money into remodeling than you're gonna have into a new one.
I agree.
So I do have a couple of things too. There's something to be said for old buildings. I have to give credit to quite a few people in Killdeer who have stepped up, taken on some of those old buildings and have really upgraded Main Street. So I get you don't like old buildings. It is what it is, but I have to give credit to those people because they've done a fantastic job. Yep, they probably stuck some money into it, but to me, it was well worth it. But I have gotten phone calls and I have spoke to several people about this. I personally have not had any positive feedback on a senior center. I'm just going to put that out there. My other question would be, so as far as financing, where is the city of Killdeer on this? We are looking to establish it in Killdeer, so I would hope that there would be some support from the city. Now, the last conversation we had with them, it was pretty negative, and I don't know if anybody has had any further conversation with them, but that's a concern for me. Once that building's established, you know, the county doesn't want it, so that would be a concern. What I'm hearing is the people I've spoken to, no one outside of Killdeer will utilize the senior center. Okay. The question was utilizing a current structure. Another comment was you're looking at spending millions, maybe that should be put towards the food as opposed to a building. What do other communities do for their food pantry, such as Halliday? And is this truly a county issue when it comes to the funding? But my concern is if we're putting it in Killdeer, why is the city not behind this?
Thank you. Let me start with that concern. The city's been very helpful thus far. Any city, from my understanding, is concerned about what they put their money towards. I think in the long run, I think the city's going to be helping us. That'd be my guess. One example, already in visiting with them, they have helped us search for property. Like that's a big deal on my mind. They're willing to vacate a whole street for us. When we did ask, are you able to give us money? And they were quite reserved about it, like, which I understand to some degree, but at the same time, I agree with you. I would like them to give us long-term, you know, some every year, some amount. In regards to so it's located in the city of Kilder. But the Dunn County Food Pantry is not just for the city of Kilder. It'd be for the whole county. And that's where the county here, comes in. So I appreciate you guys in hearing us out. And I appreciate your willingness to help financially. Like that's a big deal for us. Do I want the city of Kilder to help too? The answer is yes.
So do I.
Yeah, the answer is yes. But I'm not one of the commissioners there, and that's a discussion, for the future. But I think long-term, if they see what we're doing, I think they would. And that's my personal thought.
So the county should finance it until the city decides that they want to be a part of it? That's what I'm hearing.
The partial, so the property, we're asking for funds for the property. Backtracking a bit, one of the reasons why we split from St. John's is because people have wanted to donate
Okay.
and they can't because they're donate church. So I don't expect the county to sustain us in everything. People like on their charitable records giving to a food pantry. So I don't think that's going to be a problem. But to get there, we're just looking for help.
Okay, so do you have your 501c3?
So right now we are North Dakota nonprofit organization. We're in the process of getting our 501c3 status. It's been turned in. We're just simply waiting to hear back. That's where we're at. And we could show you the documentation if you would like as well.
Okay. And
What were some of the other questions?
I think one of the other things was, and this has come up several times, what do we have a business plan? If we establish what is the direction, you threw out some things, you guys have discussed it obviously, but no one's really come together with a plan.
That's the full plan. That's correct. Partial plan. We are certain we need a place for the food pantry, which is why we need the property. That's my big concern. I think you had a question earlier about our concern. Why don't we give this money for food?
Correct.
Well,
that was one of the comments that was made to me.
We need a place to store the food. And we need a place for people to come in and get the food. That's.
And you do have a temporary spot, so let's be clear. And maybe it's the food pantry, maybe it needs to really come to Dunn County or to Manning area. I mean, now I'm thinking, well, if the city is not on board and the county's looking, then is really Kilder the place?
Mr. Chairman,
I was thinking last night that, this is just me thinking, but, the sample building, we have to do something with at some point. If Kilder's not really showing any interest, can we bring it to Manning and put it in and designate so many rooms in a new building in Manning?
Mr. Chairman, train of thought.
Yeah.
The sample.
One of the,
threw you off, I bet.
yeah. Just something, a few things. So the city is on board. They're willing, this $40,000, the cost for that property. The city's agreed, all 5 commissioners, that they will vacate that land for it. The other part of this, whether, like the father said, we're not certain yet about the whole use or the structure of the building, but the Meals on Wheels program, the elder care that we support and have for years, they have till December 31st to vacate the building they're in now, cooking the meals. So there will no longer be a place to cook meals. They're in the process of trying to work something out with Hilltop to get by. They don't know what that's going to look like or if it even will happen. But part of this is we used to be the Dunn County Elder Care, and there used to be a levy to support that, the county supporting the Meals on Wheels program. Another thing they do is Brenda Sinnis it cooks the meals, they're delivered to Dunn Center. So it serves more than just Killdeer, but in any event, there needs to be a place, a kitchen, because they,
Yep.
you know, and hopefully it works out temporarily with Hilltop, but that's still kind of an unknown.
Can I interrupt you quick? What are you talking about? The city's vacating the lot?
There's not the lot, a street
Street.
that runs, I may have said lot, but there's a street that runs adjacent to the property, and they would vacate it to allow more land. So there would be room for building and parking, and it's, and they do, cities and even counties can vacate streets and alleys and,
That's nice, but that's not really financially funding it.
well, they
mean,
wouldn't
it's nice.
vacate it if they didn't support this, so.
We gotta make up our mind. We can't wait for everybody else to decide what they're gonna do. I mean,
The other,
we do what we wanna do because what we wanna do. We don't wanna do things because, well, this is what they're doing.
the other consideration is another 2-year lease would be $44,000, less than the cost of what this property is. And that property, you know, if the Roundup owns it, that value is there. If things for some reason go south, it's not like that money is lost. So I think it's, and the seller is willing to do this for the Dunn County Roundup, and I think the price is a very good price. And we as far as the food pantry, I mean, they have to start somewhere. Until you get the land and a rendering of a building and what it might look like, you're not going to be able to get donations. And there are you know, people that are interested in donating, but we can't go forward until we have something. And I know at the last meeting it was said, find some land and come back to us. So.
Mr. Chairman, if I may comment on Commissioner Marsh's, so the present location, there's no running water.
Yeah.
No running water. So even cleaning the place, we have a location for food, but we can't, one has to haul water in to clean the place. Which food pantries need to be clean. I mean, that's just the, so the present location, it's working.
It's
as
a temporary fix.
location, but it's not long.
Yeah.
Come up, Chris.
You talk about Killdeer being the center of the food pantry. We already have a satellite food pantry in Halliday. They are moving from the city hall to the building, the school building that they bought. What's not to say that we can expand and possibly have one in Dunn Center too, if they're not Dunn Center, Dodge. So then we have one every so often. The one in Halliday has flourished immensely.
Yeah, that's great.
So it's
I'm
not
such
that
a big believer in it.
Just Killdeer. It's Dunn County.
Absolutely. And I'm a huge supporter of this. It's just, I want to make sure we think it out and do it right. That's all.
Yeah.
Not against anything. It's just, want to make sure it's done.
Mr. Chairman?
Yeah.
I look at this pamphlet you handed out. You got phase 1, which you did. You got phase 2, you got phase 3. Now we need to do phase 4. We need to, you know, okay, you come to us and say, okay, this is, the city's here, you're here, we're gonna do this, we're gonna do this, we're gonna do this. It would make it a lot easier for me to walk out in the public and say, this is what we're gonna do. Instead of, okay, you bought some land, how are you gonna, who's gonna run it? How long is it gonna go? You know, how are you gonna get water and sewer there?
Thank you, Commissioner Kleeman. The when we've talked about an architect, the architect is, most architects are usually like, where are you building? Is it flat property? Is it that? So we're like, what does our building look like? And then how are we going to run it? What's the plan for running it? These are very good questions. and the public's gonna want to know, like, how is it? Like, how is that gonna run? Phase 4, where we're at right now, that will be broken into multiple phases. But what hesitates us is we don't even have property. So should we work on phase 4?
I'm all for it. I mean, that, like Tracy said, the price is right. But I don't want to be sitting in Kilder owning another piece of ground with another building on it that we got to give away. You know,
One thing that has happened with this Christmas season, I have had like 10 oil companies donate money. And I've also said to them, told them that we're thinking of doing this, buying the land, working on getting a building. And they said, once you get your 501c3, get us the information and we will make donations. So there are oil companies out there that are willing to help support this.
And that's great. And I'm totally in support of this too. I have no problem doing it. We just got to have a game plan. I don't want it to fail. We know nothing.
It's gonna,
It's gotta start somewhere.
yeah, it's gotta.
That's what a business plan is for. You know, now you found a piece of property. Now start putting a business plan together. You know, I'm not against it. We just have to have, and if we only get one chance to do this. So there's a lot of things you have to think of and that are gonna get affected. And that's all, you know, just make sure it's thought out really well. That's it.
That's, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
He basically said that he would like to close by the, at least get a signed agreement before the end of the year, so he knows where he's sitting.
Other comments?
I'd move that we go ahead and, give them the money to purchase the land.
Is there a second?
A second.
Motion made by Commissioner Pelton, seconded by Commissioner Dalzell to approve the funding of 40 or 80,000. Craig? Or is it 40,000?
Well, you gotta give him the 80 because he's donating 40 of it back.
Okay. So that, well, we got, he, did it have to be amended? The motion's been made and seconded. For $80,000 to purchase the land for the food pantry or Dunn County Roundup, correct?
Right.
Yep. Is there any other discussion? Is there any other discussion?
Our architects would come at a price too, I think. Our architects would they'd cost us too.
Mr. Chairman, I'm wondering, JLG is the architectural firm that we use, and in order to kind of have a plan and see where this is going, you've got to have a rendering. I don't know that there's a lot of cost associated with just at this point, we're not asking that it be, or I should say the roundup, that it be a drawn out architectural fees, but in order to come up with a rendering and cost per square foot and just, basic, I don't know that there'd be a lot of cost associated with that until we get,
They'll
further
be
down
able
the
to tell
road.
you that it's gonna be $400 a square foot roughly.
Well,
Mr. Chairman,
Yeah.
another thing is what he said is he would like a check for 40,000 and a letter from the Roundup stating that he is donating 40,000 of the 80,000 as a donation to the Roundup. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And the Roundup does have some money, so if it doesn't work for your architect, they can use some of the money that they have for an architect, if that helps make a decision.
Any other discussion?
so, Mr. Chairman, I want to get this right. Excuse me, we're gonna pay 80,000 and then he's gonna give 40,000 back to you?
Well,
food
you can
pantry?
do it that way, or he said we can give him a check for 40,000. And then we, as the Roundup, have to give him a letter stating that he valued it at 80,000, but he donated 40,000 of
Okay.
that money.
Yeah.
He's gotta
Yeah.
give him a receipt
Yeah.
for a
Yeah.
donation.
Yes,
Mhm.
That goes to the food pantry.
no,
The Dunn County Roundup.
the roundup.
Yeah, it has-
Roundup.
Well, I'd move to amend it then that we can have JLG look into it too for us and
I'll second that amendment.
Okay, the original motion was amended to have JLG look into this. The motion was made was by Commissioner Pelton, seconded by Commissioner Dalzell. Okay, is there any further discussion?
So this is inclusive of food pantry, elder care kitchen, and senior center. That's what we're talking about here?
And soup kitchen.
And soup kitchen.
well,
We're,
If I may comment, Mr. Chairman.
Yeah.
In regards to Commissioner Marsh's. We know it for sure includes the food pantry. There's still discussion about what additional things this building is going to house. So the property will for sure include the food pantry. But we're not completely certain about what else it's going to house. There's still discussion, and I'm open to any kind of input in regards to that. These are just ideas. This brochure, as I mentioned at the beginning, is a bit out of date right now.
Mhm.
It was put together some time ago. We're in phase 4, but we got to reevaluate what that looks like, and that's one of the things we have to do is, we know it includes the food pantry, but what else does it include? That's
that would determine the size of your building.
Right.
correct,
Right.
correct.
Any further discussion?
Mr. Chair, I got one more question. We buy the land, he gives 40 back, and the building never gets built. What happens then?
The county resells the land, or the Dunn County Roundup would sell the land. And it would have to go back to the county, that money. If one sold it, but I don't think will happen. That we're very certain we need a location for the food pantry. We're certain about that. We're all convinced. Who runs the food pantry? Well, we know that Chris runs it, as well as a number of other people. So we're not concerned about how it's run. But the question is, what else is added to that building?
The elder care.
Yeah, is it elder care? Is it food, or soup kitchen? What is it? We're still determining that. But we know it's the food pantry and we need it. I don't know if that answers your,
I myself just kind of wish we had a plan. I mean, I wish you'd walked in with 2 or 3 pages and said, here, if you buy this, this is what we're planning on doing. This is what we want to do. There might be changes,
that's
but
a
this is,
good point.
so we got an idea. I mean, I'm for the food pantry. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, yeah, let's build a 30 by 50 food pantry.
Okay.
Food pantry. That's what I'm saying, food pantry.
And I guess it all comes to how much money we can get donated from the oil company. If that's
Yeah.
all we have getting.
That'll make a difference.
That's
It
all
will.
we'll probably do.
But if you to come in with just a plan that we're gonna build a food pantry this big, and this is how much money we need, we want your support, we want the city's support. We're gonna go out and get donations and see if we can make it bigger.
Yeah.
As of
You know?
now, a
Thank
food
you. Yeah.
pantry.
You know, I mean, we gotta give them a place of land so they can.
Move
then they can-
forward.
It's hard to go to people for donations and you ain't got nothing.
Right.
At least now you got a home, they'd have a home to start.
And honestly, if you only want to do the 40,000, that is fine too, just so we have that money to give to them.
I have to agree with Bob. It's hard for me to say, even approve the land money. You know, I think back on when there was money approved for, in Dunn Center for the, Historical Society, and they ended up not moving forward. That money was spent. There wasn't a good plan in place, got nothing for it. So I agree with Bob. If the expectation is that we fund anything, we need a plan.
Yeah, I agree. And just like it was said earlier, you can't expect somebody to give you money when there is nothing. So that's what you're asking us to do right now. Give you money for nothing. We don't have something. If
Mr.
we have a
Chairman.
business plan, we can make sure things stay on track so this does happen.
If it is just the food pantry, okay, we can say we are just gonna do a food pantry right now with the stipulation that we may add things as we go, as we get more donations. If I had $40,000 sitting in the bank right now, I would give it to the Roundup to pay for it. I mean, that's how desperate. That land is gonna get out that it's for sale and we're gonna lose that spot.
Yeah. Mr. Chairman, I respectfully disagree with your take that there's no plan at all, because this food pantry is so needed and used in our community, and I think as county commissioners need to support that, and I know we all do, but this opportunity for this land, just as the last meeting, it was stated, find some land and come back to us. We can't go forward without a place. And whether that food pantry is the size that Bob just stated or not, there is a plan for the food pantry. And we can't, get the donations to build something without having the land. And 40,000 is basically, it's a steal right now. If we sit on this for another month or two, we may lose that, and the land that we may find in not as probably good a location will cost us 100,000 or 150,000. So I think there's no danger in donating the 40,000 for the food pantry, because that is a very good price. And as you know, from our federal mineral money, we are more than able to do that. And I think our citizens and residents need to know that we do support that. And we just need to be able to move forward and get, so we can go out and get the donations.
My
and
motion was to give it to the food pantry,
Mhm,
for the food pantry.
mhm.
I didn't include senior citizen.
And we're not talking of that at this time.
Right. We're,
I'm talking for the food pantry.
and Killdeer has always been the hub of our community. Populated area.
Like I say, they're branching out, they're including Halliday. I mean, it's,
Well, and the mobile pantry that we had in Killdeer, Great Plains is moving it. It was in Dodge and they didn't have participation. So that mobile pantry is going to Dunn Center 4 times a year, produce, dairy. So we're gonna have Killdeer, we've got Dunn Center 4 times a month. We have Halliday, whose pantry is growing by like crazy. And if somebody is interested in Dodge of help opening a pantry and running it, it's a lot of work. I didn't think I'd be working full time, but pretty much am with the food pantry. Then we would have one in Dodge. We're trying to get food out to people. We have over 50 Christmas baskets that oil companies, individuals have donated for the pantry today. I have had over 10 calls on when they can come and get them. So the pantry is needed. I think we have to look at this right now and think food pantry. If we get money donated where we're surplus, maybe then we can add the other stuff.
and this food pantry might be me to ignore right now. Social services is behind on their applications. They're right now, since they went to a statewide system, are just starting their November 1st applications, working on them. Things have slowed down when it left Southwest North Dakota. So then people need a place to get things while they wait for their funds.
Craig, they have a place. So let's be honest. The food pantry is in place. People are getting food, so it's not dependent on this $40,000.
But we have to look for the future.
I understand that, and I agree with that, but in order for me to vote forward, I need a better plan, then, well, we'll just do food pantry because that pacifies you. That's not where we're at.
Is there any more discussion?
I just a note again that, by the time, if this land is purchased and we get the money to go ahead and build a building, we'll have spent in 2 years another over 40,000 in the cost of the land. I mean, I think it just seems reasonable. We need to look to the future and be ready. And while we have this opportunity, that's the, I think, something to keep in mind.
Okay, is there any other discussion? Any further discussion?
Question she asked me is, do you have the county aboard? Do you have the city aboard? And we like it to be multi-useful. That's what people are calling for. And I can't help but look around this room, almost everybody in this room either has a child or grandchild that would love to have a safe place to go after a ball game. And you as parents should want that more than anybody else, because it is really difficult to have a safe place to go. So I don't know why we're afraid of a multi-asset. I'm not, if it doesn't work that way, I'm all for the food pantry. I do a lot of work down there. It's nothing bad. But I mean, we don't want to close the door on anything either. So I'm just saying, this community needs it, use it. We took surveys like you asked us. We put on a $2,000 supper, and we asked people what they wanted, and they told us. And it was like 97% said they were going to use it. And when we surveyed kids, they were just as high.
And of course, the naysayers are going to call in. Have you had any calls from positive people? We haven't told them to call in.
Well, you should have, because that's who I'm hearing from.
Seems like.
Well, then that's what we need.
Well,
Is there any further discussion? Any further discussion? Hearing none, we're going to be voting on the amendment, which is to bring in KLJ or JLJ. Sorry. Okay. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, we'll do roll call vote.
Commissioner Marsh?
No.
Commissioner Dolzall?
yes.
Commissioner Pelton?
Yes.
Commissioner Kleeman?
No.
Commissioner Beaner?
No. Motion, the amendment failed. Now on to the motion to the $80,000 for the food pantry.
Which would basically be 40,000.
What's that?
40, it would be 40,000 cost to the county.
Yeah. So is there any further discussion?
Mr. Beaner, Mr. Chairman, how would it be? Okay, if we write a check out for $40,000, the other 40 is going to be, he's gonna take that back, right? So it'd be just 40,000. Is that what I'm?
So we'll write a letter saying the property was worth 80,000. You're donating 40,000, and we're paying him 40,000. So it's simply saying the full value is 80,000, but he's only getting paid for
40,000
because he's donating 40.
Okay. The other 40,000 will change.
It's just a letter.
Letter.
Is there any further discussion? Any further discussion? Hearing none, roll call vote.
Commissioner Marsh?
No.
Commissioner Dolzall?
Yes.
Commissioner Pelton?
Yes.
Commissioner Kleeman?
No.
Commissioner Beener.
No, motion failed.
Thank you for
Thank
hearing
you.
us out. And is there, what would you like us to do here forward? Commissioner Kleeman, you mentioned about a plan in writing. Is that correct?
Mr. Chairman?
Yes, go ahead.
Father, I guess I would like, if you could come back to the next meeting with a game plan,
Okay,
I would have no problem doing the 40,000 or the 80,000. But we need a game plan so that we can go down and when it gets down there where the building's built and all of a sudden, oh, we're gonna do this with it. Oh, wait a minute, that's not what you said.
okay.
That's
Well-
what I would like to have.
What I think is important is you might as well include the senior center because we all know that that's what's gonna come. I mean, that's
Okay.
what your goal is. So you can say it's a food pantry, but we know what the goal is. A soup kitchen. We know what you guys are.
Let them come back with their plan.
That's what I'm saying. Come back with a plan. Your full plan.
Tell them what they're gonna have to have in their.
No, I'm just saying.
Yeah.
but a full
That would help
plan.
me a
That,
lot.
that's reasonable.
You know,
Yeah.
don't make it just I mean, if you
Mhm.
have plans of other things, put it in there.
Okay.
Okay?
Mr. Chairman, if I.
Yeah.
Commissioner Marsh, is there anything you'd like to add to that?
Nope, I want a plan. I want to know that this is, if you know specifically what you want, put it in there. If the potential is other things, then that needs to be in there. But very specific on what it is we're about to build.
Okay,
I don't think anybody's in disagreement with the food pantry, but you know, what I struggle with is a multi-million-dollar food pantry. Those two things in my head just do not make sense. A building, yes, that's feasible, yes. But when you start building multi-million-dollar buildings, which this may end up, it's hard for me to swallow. I'll be honest.
thank you.
I mean,
Thank you.
our point is to get food to people. And what does that take?
This was just for the land today. It wasn't for a multi-million.
Right.
dollar-
I understand that, but when you look at $400 a square foot and the previous discussion was 4,000 square feet, you take that times 400, let's be honest. When we're talking about this, what is it that we're doing? So
It's gonna be up to them what they bring us.
I agree, but I want to know what that is. What am I signing off on? I don't think that's too much to ask.
And that's reasonable.
Thank you.
That's reasonable.
You get it here by next meeting, I would go for it, but it's just, I gotta know.
Okay, thank you. And
Thank you.
any other questions for us? Comments?
Thank you very
Thank
much.
you,
Thank you,
Mr.
Father.
Chairman. Yeah.
And entertain a motion to adjourn.
Yeah, I'll make that.
Second. Motion made by Commissioner Kleeman, seconded by Commissioner Marsh to adjourn. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye. All opposed,
Don't
motion
anybody
carried.
go till I get back.